is Birdman 313.
Yeah,
No
Birdman,
idea.
yeah.
How everybody doing?
Yeah.
I just want to say to all the mothers, past, like my mother, present, and future, Happy Mother's Day. You know, this poem here, actually I'm tired because I've been up writing, and I normally write a poem for Mother's Day and my mom's birthday every year. This one is a new one, and I think I put a little bit too much in it. Yeah, I had to do it before so I wouldn't tear up out here. But it's called A Great Mother. Sometimes I don't have enough words to say how I could give thanks for all you've done, or how could I possibly thank you enough. The one whom I owe my life to and the strength of my soul. The one who tucked me in at night, and the one who stopped my crying. The one who makes such sacrifices to always put us first. The one who lets me test my broken wings. Then, in spite of how it hurts, who paints the world a rainbow when it's filled with broken dreams. My mother will explain all so clearly when nothing is what it seems. Are there really any words for this? Anything I want to say just doesn't seem enough. What way is there to thank you for your heart, your sweat, your tears, for 10,000 things you've done for so many years, for changing with me as I changed, then accepting all my flaws, but loving just because, for never giving up on me when your wits had reached its end, for always being proud of me, for being my best friend. And so I come to realize the only way to say, the only thank you that's enough is clear in me, just one way. Look at me before you see what I become. Do you see yourself in me, the job that you have done? All your hopes and all your dreams, the strength that no one sees. Your best was to pass me. But thank you, Mom, most of all for making dreams come true. Love you, Happy Mother's Day.
Donna, Dechen, Birdwell.
Yay!
So this is a chapter from a new book I've been working on. It's a little bit off from the general range of the Mother's Day people here, but anyway, this is what's here. Mother would ever only say that he was a madman, a brilliant madman. He loomed in my mind, part God, part monster. I thought his heart was gentler than most. When I told Mother what I thought, she bristled anger. You never knew him, she would say. He was gone long before you. But I knew it wasn't so very long before me. He was how she got me. As young as I was, I knew this. I knew a lot then. But there were things I couldn't fathom, and I hadn't yet learned to not ask questions. Was he from here? From Timor? No, child, not from Timor. I didn't know any other towns then, so she'd just as well to have told me that he dropped in from another planet. Sometimes I thought he had. Sometimes I thought my mother had. I didn't know how hard life was for her. There was just my mother and me. And birds. The best thing for me in those days was wandering off into the woods with the birds, to sing with the birds. There was a woods at the edge of town then. Mother scolded. She wanted me to learn to read, but reading was impossible. The words wouldn't sit still, wouldn't stay in order. Each word wanted to tell me things and wouldn't let me move on to the next. I memorized poems easily enough, the music of them, the pictures the words painted, but I couldn't read them. Mother scolded and hit me and made me sit with the books and struggle, doing battle with written words. Winnie, you'll never be anything if you can't read. She would shout and strike me on the side of the head with a book as if that was going to help me understand all the stacks of of words. I shouted back, just noise. I stomped my feet and pounded the table with my fists. I ripped pages out of the book. She picked up the ladle from the soup pot and hit me with it again and again. She hit me. She covered me with bruises and burns. I screamed and ran away into the woods. She didn't come after me. I wandered, sobbing, moaning, scuffing bare feet against stones. I sat down finally in a little clearing, and the birds gathered around me. Little pale things, plain like me. I knew they were afraid too. I saw the hawk at the top of a tree. I watched her fly away, soaring, sun on her head and back, wind soft across her belly where her talons lurked, hungry for her next meal. When she was gone, the little birds chirped and twittered their way back up to their perches in the trees, high or low according to their customs. I would go home. I saw my mother through the window. She was crying. I watched as she taped another torn page back into the book, smoothing it ever so gently, lovingly. She closed the book, examining to see if the restored pages lined up with the rest. She clutched the book to her heart, tears still trickling down her cheeks. She wasn't crying for me. After that, I tried harder with the reading. The best I could do was never good enough. I learned to cook and to clean. I was good at tending my mother when she was sick, and soon neighbors wanted me to tend their sick ones too. They said I had a gift. Mother began to tolerate me. Do I look like him? I asked. Like who? Oh, I don't remember much anymore. I guess you have his eyes. I knew I had more than that. My mother's face was slender, her nose and mouth small, well-formed, her hair dark, skin golden brown. People said she was pretty. I wasn't like her. What was his name? Abel, she said. She turned away, refusing me anything more.
Stephanie Johnson.
Happy Mother's Day to all. First point, I'm going to try to get in three. We'll see. First one is by unknown. This is really for honor of all women. Beauty of a woman. The beauty of a woman isn't the clothes she wears, the figure that she carries, or the way she combs her hair. The beauty of a woman must be seen from in her eyes, because that's the doorway to her heart. The place where love resides. The beauty of a woman isn't in a facial mold, but true beauty in a woman is reflected in her soul. It's the caring that she cares to give and the passion that she shows. And the beauty of a woman with passing years only grows. The next one is something that I composed as of today. It's called A Little Mothering I Could Use. Following my heart is never easy, right or wrong. Inside I know who I am. A little mothering I could use. A word of encouragement, it's important to me. Inside I'm a girl, because sometimes I feel all alone. My feelings are real, a little mothering I could use. The clothes I wear are only to express. My core is eternal, my determination is strong. Enduring patience and inner strength, a role model and confidant do I seek. Someone I can trust and help me grow into the girl I've always have been. Inside this dress, a little mothering I could use. This is something actually I I had this for several years. I came across this, and I was actually thinking about Brian as I came across this one.
And the one time he's absent.
And one time he's absent. This is called oral change. Oral change instructions for men. Now, I may not go through all 50 of them. I'll skip a few. Number one, go to our parts store, write a check for $50 for oil, kitty litter, hand cleaner, and a scented tree. Step number two, discover that the used oil container is full. Instead of taking it back to O'Reilly's, recycle, dump in a hole in the backyard. Step number three, open a beer and drink it. Step number four, jack car up. Spend 30 minutes looking for the jack stands. Step number five, find the jack stands under the kid's pedal car. Step number six, in frustration, open another beer and drink it. Step number seven, drain the engine. Number 8, look for 9/16 box and wrench. Number 9, give up and use a crescent wrench. Number 10, unscrew the drain plug. Number 11, drop drain plug into the hot oil. Get hot oil all over you in the process. Step number 12, clean up the process. Clean up the mess. Step number 13, have another beer while watching the oil drain. Step number 14, look for an oil filter wrench. Step number 16, beer. Step number 17, somebody shows up, finishes the case of beer with him, finish the oil change tomorrow. Step number 18, next day, drain the oil pan full of cold oil from underneath the car. Step number 19, throw kitty litter on oil spilt back in step number 18. Step number 20, beer. Drank it all yesterday. Step number 21, walk to the 7-Eleven, buy beer. Step number 22, install the new oil filter. Step number 23, drop the oil wrench again. Step number 24, drain the oil plug. Number 27, drink beer. 36, drink beer. 38, drink beer. Step number 40, dump 5 quarts of oil, drink another beer. Step number 45, drink another beer. Test drive the car. Get pulled over, get arrested for drinking under the influence. Car gets impounded, make bail. Get the car out from the impound yard. Total money spent, parts $50, DUI $2,500, impound $75, bail $1,500, beer $25. Total $4,150. Oil change for women. Pull up the Jiffy Lube when the mileage reaches 3,000 miles since the last oil change. Number 2, drink a cup of coffee. Number 3, 15 minutes later, write a check and leave with a properly maintained car. Money spent, oil change $20, coffee $1, total $21.
All right, Larry Mayfield.
Larry. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I see.
This is a new one. It's currently tweaking, so I suppose it's finished kind of. And it's about family. I know you can't see that, but goes back into my family of all the family that I truly love. The Blue Bowl. Most all called her Mama. To the cousins, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, fathers, mothers, kids, she was Mama. Mom called her Mrs. Mayfield. Uncle Jewel called her by name, Bertie. But to the rest of us, she was Mama. Gazing at that blue bowl in my kitchen cupboard, a reflection of your kind face comes to mind. How long has it been? 1983? born in 1883, almost made it to 100, and you're still deeply etched into my thoughts, my heart. When given a chance to pick a keepsake after you passed, scanning this and that, my eyes came to rest on a blue bowl that seemed to represent what you were all about, cooking in your kitchen. Transcending time, those aromas filtering through the screen door at family gatherings, the menfolk standing outside shooting the breeze while the other women helped you cook. Me trying to act like a man, sitting on my haunches, a grass twig hanging from my lips like a toothpick, just like that. Hearing the oven door open and close and open, and the pots and pans clattering, contents being stirred, the frying crackle in a skillet, serving them up in bowls on plates. Listening to the sound of tea pouring over the ice in glasses, knowing that call was forthcoming. Time to eat. Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, white gravy, deviled eggs, green beans, radishes, sliced tomatoes, onions, corn on the cob, collard greens. Most of the vegetables freshly picked out of your garden, a garden that I helped you plant many years. The men and kids ate first, the women content with a sense of gratification for their mothering ways, observing how the table of life has been set, though I did notice that they were nibbling here and there while preparing the nourishment and chattering like birds in a nest. In dessert, mincemeat, buttermilk, lemon chess, sweet potato, coconut, and chocolate meringue, just about any kind of pie imaginable, divinity fudge, and oh, your peanut brittle. The sweets on the buffet arranged and quite fashionable. The hustle bustle in your kitchen, everyone happy. That's the way I remember it. All squeezed into your tiny little house on Fry Street. I had a dream last night about you. The same setting, the family gatherings, everyone was there. Uncle PH and Aunt Jean in from Dallas in their fancy Cadillac. Aunt Thelma in a simple cotton dress. Uncle Ira in his farm clothes. I was an adult, but the rest of you stuck back in time like it was the 60s. I got to hear Dad's hearty laugh, and with his powerful Popeye-sized arms, he gave me a big hug. That smile of his full of warmth and life. Mom, silent but stoic, acknowledged me from the distance, busy cooking. Uncle Judge chuckle, Aunt Vivian's nasally voice, Uncle Cecil, Aunt Dale, Uncle Hugh, and all of their families. There must have been 50 of us, all gathered to honor the one who brought life to so many, our family matriarch. Greeting each, meandering about, looking, finding you stooped, lifting a hot pan of biscuits with a pot holder, setting them on the wringer washer near the cook stove. You look at me with those grinning eyes. Oh, it's Larry. That exclamation said with such enthusiasm and emotion, just like you always did. And me just wanting to tell you, Mama, your pecan pie and bread pudding have withstood time. Everyone still calls them Mama Mayfield's recipes. Dad calls out from afar, Larry, it's time to go now. The clatter in the kitchen subsides, the car doors slamming, everyone hugging and waving their goodbyes. One of your hand-pieced quilts covers and muffles the dream. All the relatives have passed in time now. My ears listening to hear your voices, eyes seeking, envisioning, leaving me to wrestle with that wishbone and to wish for you all again. A hazy morning, sleepy-eyed and barely awake, magnetically drawn to my kitchen, opening the cupboard door and finding the comfort of your blue bowl on the shelf.
Right. Rosemary help.
Doing this on the phone. Apologize. Just moved into a new place and haven't hooked up my printer yet. But in the theme of othering and mothering, this is called 16. Guess whose birthday it is tomorrow? I ask as I push the washcloth in a circular motion inside her ear. Whose? Yours, I say, as she tilts her head to the side to look at me. She glances down before she asks, how old? How old would you like to be? And a smirk forms on her face as I ask this, so that only the right side of her lips move upwards. Oh, sure, she whispers. But our eyes lock in a stare as we look at one another in the bathroom mirror. A smile is plastered on my face. Really? She asks. And I have to laugh as I answer. Of course. On your birthday, you get to decide how old you want to be. 16, she says. Then she begins to describe what her life was like at 16 years old. Only most of her story gets lost in the mix-up of nouns and pronouns and incorrect verbs that are no longer filed neatly away in her brain's communication drawers, but tossed around as though a raccoon were deciding the order of English structure. She is clearest in the mornings, and if I'm able to sit with her long enough, her sentences are like a song whose tune my brain has committed to memory without ever fully knowing the lyrics. The tone of her voice and intonation are familiar, even if not flawless, as they push forth a pattern I know, have always known, because she is not just any woman standing in my bathroom. She is my mother. Since her stroke a year ago, Mom's verbal communication is limited. She cannot in this moment convey what 16 signifies to her, what it meant to live in the early 1950s when McCarthyism had taken over the minds of crazed politicians, while dropping of the hydrogen bomb was considered a solution to anything. Had she been able, I'm sure my mother would have described her last year of freedom and budding independence with the same wistfulness she has always harbored. I wish I would have waited another year, she has admitted before. After she turned from 16 to 17, my mother married my father, and she began a long journey of giving birth to 10 children, 6 of whom she would have to hand wash cloth diapers for because Pampers wouldn't hit the market for another 13 years. Before I tucked her into bed that night, I showed her a photo and asked, how old were you here? That same smile returned, and clear as though it were morning, she said, oh, look at me, 16, I was 16 there. The calendar marks 83 years for my mother, but she's chosen to be 16 instead. She's earned it.
Yeah.
All right, Thom, you're.
Yeah. Well, Larry, that's good.
Again?
Yeah, great so. This is from Mother Earth, Gaia, Taxonomy of Elements. Stone said to wood, let us elope. With your beauty and my strength we will live forever. Wood agreed, but then she was a mighty forest then, and stones took shelter beneath her, branches above them, woods surrounding, deer and birds within. Stone was slow but deep. Stone knew he might be gathered like firewood and made into arc and walls and used in wars, but wood was too, as arrow and as lance, shelter and pike and catapult. But war changed. Wood was ship now and navy. Stone sulked. He had no place except as wall, and catapults could break walls down. Which is why, in the remains of battlefields, stone still survives. Never as beautiful as forests once were, but then again, all virgin forests have been murdered and mutilated too. In the new Gaia, heaven is other people. Everyone here is an angel. Everyone here has abilities and powers, distinctly different as DNA, snowflakes, and fingerprints. We actually like each other and ourselves and welcome new people into our readings, our homes, our country, our lands. We're at peace within and cooperate actively with others. We have such a long history of goodwill, voluntarism, kindness, and compassion, and our future is bright as we actively work with those we trust to empower each and every one of us on every level. Political, cultural, spiritual, we are happy with ourselves and with each other. So Gaia, our emotional state is reflected in our climate today and our attitude towards you, Mother, you, nature. We have clean air, clean water, clear earth and skies. We recycle 100%. We are not yet robots. And just like Mother Earth, we will not die. I want to leave you with a Dutch poem by Hans Plomp. It's an invocation of the goddess. Wherever we look, wherever we go, the Holy Father rules the show. Tell us, God, or Holy Son, where have all the goddesses gone? Listen, I don't want no guru, no Jesus, no Mao, no Marx, no Buddha, no Satan, no Krishna, no Zarathustra, no leaders on earth or up above, but you forever, sweet lady love. Winner of the universe, will you hear this? We don't need no tyrant fathers, we don't need no murdered sons, we need just Lady Justice, sweet Lady Magic to heal a sick and spinning planet. No Moloch, no Kronos, no Baal, no Allah, but Shakti, Astarte and sweet Saraya. No leaders on earth or up above, but you forever, sweet Lady Love.
Before I had 2 phones. Thank you all for coming out and sharing part of your Mother's Day. I hope you've all, even if your mother is not in the presence, you've at least thought of her and honored her with your thoughts. My mother, I always, even though I'm the youngest of 3 and I live the farthest away and I see my mother the least, I'm always the first with the Mother's Day card.
Yeah.
That's my claim to fame, which I hand make. And and everyone thinks about, oh, what do you give your mother? What are you going to buy your mother? What are you going to treat your mother? I say, I always give my mother laughter. So I continue that tradition. Next time we're here, it's going to be June 11th, and the theme is Freedom Reimagined. And I always make that June kind of my Father's Day celebration, even though Father's Day is technically the 3rd Sunday of June. I just like to have balance because I love my father too. So I honor my mother today, I honor my father in June. And I hope you guys will come out and interpret the themes like you did today. Thank you, and you have a great Easter.